Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg, Florida. It's October 31st. It's Samhain. My name is Reverend Ben Atherton Zeman. I'm so excited to be joined by Reverend Aaliyah to do this service together.
Good morning, and my name is Aaliyah Cannon, and I am the head of the worship committee here, and I'm also an ordained pagan minister. We want to welcome everyone, and a special welcome to anyone who is new to our community. Many of you have gathered on our front lawn to watch this service together, and many others are watching from your homes. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here.
Thanks, Reverend Aaliyah. Now we have accessibility for those of you who are watching at home, and actually also for those who are out in front lawn, through the use of closed captioning. Now for most devices and operating systems, you'll find the CC icon in the lower right portion of your screen. And like I said before, I'm just thrilled to be joined by Reverend Aaliyah Cannon for this morning's services. I'm always overjoyed to be joined by Janae Johnson, our religious educator and communications coordinator, by John Arterton, who has put the music together for us, and by James Mack, who has put it all together. And it's just a lovely way. I'm so glad you're here. It's a lovely way to do worship. It's a lovely way to put the service together.
Our flaming chalice is a symbol of the Unitarian Universalism. It is a symbol of hope, the sacred, the quest for truth, the warmth of community, the light of reason, and so much more. Before Ben lights the chalice, here in the video and outside the church and in person, let us take a moment of silence to center ourselves for the worship service. And we will now say the words of our covenant together out loud. Please join in from the front lawn or from your home.
Love
is the spirit of this church,
and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
I have such wonderful memories of the fall. The autumn leaves as they fall down from the trees in colors of amber gold and fiery red, dancing in the wind. And the cool breeze blowing through my body, purifying me from all the summer heat and all the stress of the day. And my favorite holiday, right before the first snowfall, Halloween, or as pagans call it, Samhain. For many people, the idea of Samhain might stir their deepest fears of death, but this festival can actually be very cathartic and transformative. The name Samhain translates from Irish Gaelic and means November, but actually it's quite older than the Irish in Ireland because it was brought there by the Druids about 2,500 years ago. For the ancient Celts, Samhain marked the end of the light half of the year and the beginning of the dark half of the year. And another thing about the Celts, they believed that life as well as the year didn't start in the morning when we rise. It started in the darkness because we all come out of the darkness of the womb and into the light. So the end of summer marked the end of the year, and Samhain was like a New Year's celebration. So here we are, we find ourselves at a time in between the light half of the year and the dark half of the year, standing on a threshold, a possibility to leave the past behind us and gravitate towards new futures and new beginnings.
We have a few announcements today. One big one, very exciting. The safety team has decided to reopen the building to small and medium-sized gatherings. So if you have a covenant group, if you have a committee meeting, come back to the building. We are strongly encouraging masking and social distancing, both for these in-person gatherings and for our outdoor viewing of the worship service. The safety team was able to do this because of the COVID Act Now status for Pinellas County changing from extreme to very high to high and finally medium. So this is wonderful news. Our second announcement was by the time you see this, we will have had a very successful trunk or treat. Many thanks to all of the volunteers, and that's a lot of you, who devoted your time, your candy, your cars, and the biggest thanks to our amazing Janae Johnson for bringing the whole thing together. Now please make sure to check out the UU St. Pete weekly newsletter for announcements of the other things happening at this church. And if you're saying, what UU St. Pete weekly, please email the church. We'll get you on that mailing list.
It is also time for joys and concerns. A concern goes out to John Artisan, who is unfortunately having a heart test done on Friday, and hopefully everything will turn out okay. We love you, John. Right. As part of our joys and concerns, we'd like to honor those who have passed during these past several months. Whomever you wish to remember at this time, your thoughts, say their names, and together we will share the names of our congregation who have passed. Roy Price, Audrey Zares. As we add a stone for unspoken joys and concerns, we add a stone in remembrance of all the joy that these people brought to our lives before they passed on.
We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give, we have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a joy being together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
The following poem is by Robert Frost. It is acquainted with the night. And if you listen close, you can feel the stillness in the air at this time of sound. I have been acquainted with the night. I have walked out in the rain and back in the rain. I have walked out the furthest city light. I've looked down the saddest city lane. I have passed by the watchman on his beat. and dropped my eyes, unwilling to explain. I have stood still and stopped at the sound of feet, when far away, an interrupted cry came over the houses from another street, but not to call me back or say goodbye. And further still, an earthly height, one luminary clock against the sky, proclaimed the time was night or wrong. I have been acquainted with the night.
Thank you, Jamie.
Good morning. My name is Janae Johnson, and wait a second. I don't think I'm appropriately dressed for the occasion. I mean, though I do like this. I think I need to be in something more fitting for today, don't you think? Give me a second. Give me a second. Now I am ready to share the story of all ages. Once again, in case you didn't hear me the first time, good morning. My name is Janae Johnson, and I'm your Religious Education and Communications Coordinator here at Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Pete, Florida. So, I hope everyone had fun last night driving through our second drive-through trunk-or-treat and food drive. We collected so much food, with so many cars and happy faces. I'm super excited, and I'm so glad that everybody had so much fun. So, here we go. Did you get your favorite Halloween candy, by the way? Because there's a lot of candy that was going around, but did you get your favorite Halloween candy? I bet you can't guess which candy is the most popular candy for trick-or-treating. Surprise, it is Skittles. Before COVID, a survey in 2019 revealed that Americans purchased 3.3 million pounds of these rainbow gooey treats. Can you imagine being in a pool of 3.3 million pounds of Skittles? Heaven. Anyway. Of course, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups came second, and a close second with just over 3 million purchased. Third place, of course, goes to M&M's. I bet you can't guess how old Halloween is. I'm gonna give you a hint. It starts with 3 and ends with 1,000. That's right, 3,000 years. Halloween is based on an ancient Celtic celebration that goes back over 3,000 years. The first time kids went trick-or-treating in the United States was in the 1920s. This church was actually built the same time kids started started trick-or-treating here. I almost said trunk-or-treat. I'm still excited from last night, right? Now, we believe it was brought here by the Irish when unfortunately deadly famine had forced them to immigrate. So before it came to the US, kids in Scotland, England, and Ireland would go to doors saying, "Treats for Halloween party." That must have been difficult with saying that with a mouthful of candy. So the idea of kids going door to door looking for treats is far much older. Hundreds of years ago, kids would dress in masks of straw, or in Scotland, they would cross-dress to create an alarming presence. You see how today I know I got your attention with this. Listen up. So the way this will flow is they will also acknowledge or pay or pray to deceased loved ones, as a lot of different cultures express that this is the thinnest part of the veil. So The deceased family members of souls would be acknowledged too. And if the treats didn't come in, they warned of mischief. So this is where the phrase trick or treat kind of wedged its way into that, right? These kids would do this at Halloween, Christmas, and even at wedding parties. So the next time someone shows up at your door with their clothing stuffed in straw, you might just want to give them some candy. Thank you so much, you guys. Enjoy the rest of the service. Out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey ho, nobody home, meat nor drink nor money have I none, yet shall we be merry. Hey ho, nobody home, hey no drink nor nobody home, meat nor drink nor money have I none, yet shall we be merry. Hey ho, nobody home. Soul cake, please good Mrs. A soul cake, an apple, a pear, a plum, a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, 3 for him who made us all. God bless the master of this house and the mistress also, and all the little children that round your table grow, the cattle in your stable, the dog by your front door, and all that dwell within your gates, we wish you 10 times more. Soul cake, please good Mrs. A soul cake, an apple, a pear, a plum, a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, 3 for him who made us all. Go down into your cellar and see what you can find. If the barrels are not empty, we hope you will be kind. We hope you will be kind with your apple and strong beer, for we'll come no more a soulin' till this time next year. A soul cake, please good Mrs. A soul cake, an apple, a pear, a plum, a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, 3 for him who made us all. The streets are very dirty, my shoes are very thin, I have a little pocket to put a penny in. If you haven't got a penny, a halfpenny will do. If you haven't got a halfpenny, then God bless you. A soul cake, please good Mrs. A soul cake, an apple, a pear, a plum, a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, 3 for him who made us all. Saw wind, the veil tonight is thin. We call upon our ancestors, we call upon our kin. Saw wind, the veil tonight is thin. We call upon the souls beyond as the great wheel turns again.
In the time of our ancestors, as darkness fell across the land, all fires would be extinguished in all the homes to pay honor to this time in between the past year and the future. Then, on a sacred hilltop called Clacta, the Druids would relight a sacred bonfire, and it was huge. In fact, you could see it 12 miles away in the Court of Terra. Now, it's believed that in this hilltop of Clacta, there is a goddess of the same name who keeps watch over all of us during these times of in-between light and dark. She is a guardian of the world to bear witness as the shadows grow long. The word bonfire actually comes from the phrase bonefire. Samhain was a time that we culled the herds. The cattle that possibly could not make it through the long winter would become food for the Celts to stave off the hunger during the long months. But as the cattle were culled, there were a lot of bones and unusable remains that couldn't be used. And these were put into a large fire called a bone or bonfire. Now, do you have something that is no longer usable to you? This is the perfect time to release an anxiety, a fear. Is there something that you're dealing with which no longer serves you? Cast it away and let's start over. Once the fire was relit at Clachta, another fire was relit at Tara, where the king would be awaiting, and he would relight his bonfire, and then every home across the Irish countryside would relight theirs. During this time, which, by the way, will repeat itself at Beltane when the dark months end, the Celts believed that the boundaries between the living and the dead were very thin. And we could send messages and hear messages through that boundary with our ancestors. And this is a time that we honor the people that have passed on from this world. You can choose to honor someone like your mother, father, close friend, or you can honor someone that has had an impact on your life, a heroic figure like Martin Luther King Jr. or Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It doesn't matter who you honor. The fact is, when we remember them and we say their names, it's like they're still alive with us. So let us remember all those who inspire us and move our spirit. Now, in the Christian tradition, there are two additional holidays at this time, All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. And in Hinduism, this is also a brand new year for them. It's called Diwali. And in Mexico, you may have heard of the Day of the Dead, dating way back 3,000 years ago to the time of the Aztecs. Both the Celts and the Mexicans believe that at this time of the year, we should leave food and drink and flowers to honor our ancestors. But most importantly, Samhain is not a time for sorrow. It's a time for celebration. Yes, we miss these people in our life dramatically. They have touched our lives remarkably, and our hearts are heavy. But what would our lives be if they had not touched them? So I choose to feel gratitude. I feel gratitude for all those people who have gone before. And I am grateful for our many mighty ancestors.
To keep our congregation thriving, let us remember our connection to one another. And let us not forget our contributions to support the means to those connections. So if you're watching today on a mobile device or your computer, please hover your finger or cursor in the upper right-hand corner of your screen and click on the I in the small white circle for a secure way to give. The link is also in the description box below. You can also donate through the Vanco Faith Engagement mobile app or on our website under the Giving tab at uustpete.org or by sending a check to the church office. Many thanks. Thank you so much, Reverend Aaliyah. Thank you, Jamie, for leading this worship service with me. It is time for our chalice extinguishing. We are trying out a new chalice extinguishing, and the words will be printed on your screen for those of us at home. And for those of us watching this in person, you'll have the opportunity to say it in unison. The three of us are going to say it one line at a time, and then we'll try to say the last line in unison.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light that helps our eyes see the truth,
The warmth that helps our heart feel connection.
and the fire that helps us commit to a better world.
We will keep this light, warmth, and fire inside ourselves until we meet again.
One spirit in the dark, like a candle wavers. Many spirits joined as one, burn with the power of the blazing sun. There is strength in community, the circle empowering you and me. The circle binds yet sets us free, in the goddess name, so mote it be. One spirit in the dark, like a candle wavers. Many spirits joined as one, burn with the power of the blazing sun. There is strength in community, the circle empowering you and me. Circle binds yet sets us free, in the goddess name, so mote it be. One spirit in the dark, like a candle wavers. Many spirits joined as one, burn with the power of the blazing sun. There is strength in community, circle empowering you and me. Circle binds yet sets us free, in the goddess name, so mote it be. There is strength in community, the circle empowering you and me. The circle binds yet sets us free, in the goddess name, so mote it be.
May I ever use my hands for lifting up. May I ever use my voice for speaking truth. May I consecrate each day and live with joy and wonder. May I sow in peace as all the wild things do. I will ever use my voice for lifting up. This voice was made for peace. I will ever use my eyes for seeking truth. These eyes were made for truth. I will consecrate each day and live with joy and wonder. I will sow in peace as all the wild things do. There is peace on I will reap in peace as all the wild things do. Wild and precious, we are wild and precious. Life is wild and precious.